How to Write in 4th Grade, Volume 2 of 11. A narrative. Describe a special family member. Time needed, 2 days, 30 minutes. Materials needed, blank paper, describe a person worksheets, examples of traits, class writing paper. The goal in a narrative or story is to get an emotional response from your reader. You want them to feel something. Our first writing piece practiced describing the setting so that your writer could feel what it's like to be there in your story. Another important element of a narrative is the characters in your story. You want your reader to have feelings for your characters. If you want your reader to like them, then you describe them in a certain way. If you want your reader to dislike your character, then you describe them in a different way. He had dark eyes, dark skin, dark hair, and he was as thin as a flagpole. Best of all, Ralphie Jordan was a world champion smiler. Nobody had a bigger smile or used it more often. We like Ralphie. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. She was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences spying on the neighbors. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley are not nice people. There was Chester, with Mr. Monroe's towel draped across his back and tied under his neck like a cape. That was strange enough, but on his face was an expression that sent chills down my spine. His eyes were wide and staring. The corners of his mouth were pulled back in an evil grimace. His teeth were bared and gleaming in the morning light. He cackled menacingly and threw back his head as if he were laughing at all of us. I'm scared of Chester. In this piece, you are going to practice writing characters for your story by describing a family member. Remember, older writers start by brainstorming. Use a blank piece of paper and take 2 to 5 minutes to draw a family portrait. Try to only include people that you know very well. The portrait is only to help you choose someone to write about, so don't spend too much time on detail. Look at your family portrait and pick someone that you would like to describe. This is not your favorite family member, but just someone you know well and can describe. Write your name and theirs at the top of the Describe a Person worksheet. Describing a person is a lot like describing a place or a thing. There are details that don't need an explanation. My sister has brown hair. My dad wears white t-shirts. Start by writing down 5 adjective noun pairs to describe their face and hair, and another 5 adjective noun pairs to describe the clothes they wear. Some descriptive details need an explanation or an example to make it clear to your reader. These kinds of details are often called traits. If you are describing your mom and you say she is clever, your reader probably won't understand what you mean. You would need to give another sentence or 2 explaining how she is clever. My mom quickly learns how to do things that take my dad a long time to learn. She was able to fix the dishwasher after my dad had given up. Now your reader knows what you mean when you say, "My mom is clever." Think of an action, an event, or a behavior that would be a good example to describe your special person. Write a sentence or 2 about it on the action-behavior line. Now choose a word to summarize this action or behavior and write it on the trait line. You might need to look at a list of traits hanging in your classroom. Another descriptive detail that tells a lot about a person is what they like to do. It is also a detail that often needs an explanation or an example. My dad likes to play music. Does he sit in a chair and play classical CDs? Is he a drummer in a metal headband that plays in a bar every Friday night? Explain or give an example so your reader understands what your special person likes to do. My dad likes to play music. Every Saturday morning, he blasts old people's rock and roll music while he cleans the house. Sometime he asks me to choose the music I like. Write down something your special person likes to do in the likes to do section. Be sure to write a sentence or two of explanation. Last time we wrote, we started by brainstorming. We drew a family portrait of the people we could describe. Then, using a worksheet, we wrote descriptive details of the person we wanted to describe. We had to prove or explain some of the descriptive details. We called these kind of details traits. Now that we have all of the pieces, we can write. Take a piece of the class writing paper. Write your name and today's date. Where it says Writing Skills, write 10 descriptive details, 1 trait, 1 likes to do. The first sentence or sentences of your writing piece need to explain to your reader your topic. A young writer would write, I'm going to tell you about my sister. The reader now knows you're going to talk about your sister. But you can give so much more information in this first sentence. People say my brother is strange, but I wouldn't want him to change even a little bit. The reader knows you are going to talk about your brother, that you like him, and that in some ways he's different. You can do a lot in that first sentence when you introduce your topic. You do it. Tell the reader who you're going to write about, and give a hint how you feel about this person. Choose one of the adjective-noun pairs from the face and hair section. Compose a sentence and say it in your head, then write it down. For example, brown hair. Do the same for all of the noun-adjective pairs in the face and hair section. You'd like my sister if you ever met her. She has long brown hair. She has lots of freckles. Her eyes are green, the same color as mine. She has pierced ears and wears 2 earrings on one side and 3 on the other. Notice that I put the 2 details about her pierced ears and earrings into one sentence. This works best if the adjective-noun pairs are connected. It doesn't work as well if I had done it with her green eyes and odd number of earrings. Choose one of the noun-adjective pairs from the clothes they wear section. Compose sentences the way you did for the face and hair section. Now write sentences for your trait behavior section. My sister is athletic. She plays on the travel soccer team for Haverford Township. Oftentimes, people write the trait before they put the behavior explaining it. This holds true for the likes to do section as well. My sister likes to bake cookies. My favorites are her chocolate chip cookies. She makes extra big ones just for me. To end your writing piece, you need to signal to your reader that you're done. Remember back in second grade when you would write "the end" as a signal that you were done? One common way real writers signal an ending is by reminding the reader of their opening sentences. If you wrote, "You'd like my sister if you ever met her," as your first sentence, you could write, "I knew you'd like my sister," as your last sentence. The last sentence echoes the first sentence. The reader would be reminded of your first sentence, and this would signal that the piece is over. Write a sentence that reminds the reader of your opening sentence. Now you need to check your story. Go back to the beginning and quietly read. If one of your sentences doesn't sound right, then there probably is something wrong. Fix it. Go to the top of your paper and look at the writing skills. Did you use 10 descriptive details? Count them. Did you include an action behavior trait? Did you write about what your family member likes to do? Good job.